is Hewie Rattray, the CEO of Vinanz PLC, soon to become London Bitcoin company. Hewie, good to be speaking to you. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, Mark. How are you?
Yes, very good, very good. So, of course, the wrap is ongoing. It's got the rest of today to play out. But just tell us again, what's Vinanz's mission? Why does Bitcoin play such a critical role in what you're doing?
Yeah, so our mission with Binance is to build a kind of Bitcoin first treasury vehicle. We want to kind of build a vehicle, accumulate Bitcoin, and essentially provide a high beta to the Bitcoin price. Now, what that means is if we manage it well and manage it aggressively, we should outperform Bitcoin over time.
Okay.
We're essentially choosing to exchange the pounds that we'd usually hold in treasury for the company into Bitcoin. So, we're effectively shorting GBP, longing Bitcoin, and we're big believers Bitcoin goes to $1 million in the next few years. And we're here to be the kind of cleanest and most aggressive Bitcoin accumulator on the LSE.
Okay.
It's as simple as that, really.
I mean, of course, you've got the mining operation as well, which was a lot of the focus going forward before you sort of go down this treasury strategy. So how do the mining operations and the treasury strategy, how do they complement each other?
So yeah, mining's kind of like self-sourced Bitcoin. We've got a bunch of mining equipment that's based around North America, and it produces Bitcoin all the time, which kind of transacts in real time into our wallets. Mining is kind of like dollar cost averaging because you're kind of getting a slightly cheaper entry than if you're just market buying Bitcoin. I think our cost of production per Bitcoin is around $70,000 at the moment. So this is this kind of operational yield that feeds our treasury, and it's this kind of accumulation engine that kind of brings Bitcoin ongoing into our treasury whilst we raise money and market buy Bitcoin for our treasury at the same time. Okay. So that's kind of essentially how the mining and the treasury operations support each other.
Okay. And in terms of the London Stock Exchange, of course, you've moved over from Aquis. Why did you move over to the London Stock Exchange? And how does that sort of set you apart from other Bitcoin companies in the London markets?
Yeah, so like you said, we kind of started at Aquis, and I love the Aquis team, and I love the kind of the step up that the market provides for small companies. Ultimately, when we've been raising money on Aquis in the past, the replies that we get from a lot of institutions is, "Oh, sorry, we can't invest on Aquis. We're not allowed to invest on Aquis. It's not in our mandate." So it makes sense to uplist to the LSE at some point, and we did it at the beginning of this year. Now, the LSE provides a lot more in terms of the money available to be able to invest in your company. There's this huge pool of capital that can invest on London Stock Exchange, 1.5 trillion plus just in the UK, a lot more around the world. It's got this kind of global trust and institutional access that Aquis just doesn't quite have yet. Mm-hmm. And there's obviously a huge regulatory strength with the London Stock Exchange, makes it a very credible place for companies to be listed. And then aside from that, you can do all these really kind of intricate, more interesting funding products when you're on the LSE compared to if you're on Aquis or on another exchange. So yeah, we're exploring a whole bunch of different funding strategies other than just kind of equity placings.
Okay.
And I think that gives us access to a much deeper pool of capital.
Okay. So how do you plan to continue and grow the business? What's the strategy over time? Will you continue with the mining operations, as you say, dollar cost averaging and growing that mining fleet as sort of organically, but also planning to mirror, let's say, other operators in the space, let's say Smarter Web Company or Coincilium, in terms of raising capital from different sources and effectively deploying it straight into a Bitcoin treasury?
Yeah, so like you say, we have this organic mining strategy, and then we have this external Bitcoin acquisition strategy, and they kind of operate hand in hand. But basically, all fresh capital that we raise will go into Bitcoin, with the exception of a bit of working capital and fees and commissions associated with the fundraisers. NAV growth, net asset value growth, is the real KPI here, and that's what we endeavor to keep improving.
Okay, good. And investors perhaps who are looking at Binance now, what do you think is the investment opportunity? What makes Binance more compelling over, the other exposure to Bitcoin people can get?
Yeah, so like I said at the beginning of the interview, these treasury companies are essentially high beta plays against Bitcoin. So if they're managed well, they should perform better. I think we're still early in the Bitcoin cycle. I think we still got a long way to go the rest of this year in terms of price appreciation. And I think this idea of listed exposure to Bitcoin with some operational backing, gives a unique offering to the investor that just buying the underlying asset.
Okay.
does. So that's basically the opportunity. We're kind of leveraged exposure to the Bitcoin price.
Okay. And of course, the wrap is ongoing now. This is part of your latest fundraising effort here. It's open to retail. That's the whole point. It's the retail offering here. It's going on until, I think, 4:30 UK time today. Can you say how it's going so far and sort of what people have got to do if they want to take part before the end of the day?
Yeah, so it's going really well. If you want to take part, my advice is just call your broker and give them a kind of indication that I think they can take care of the rest for you.
Okay.
With the funds that we raise from this, we're targeting Bitcoin growth primarily, and we're going to do that as quickly as possible as soon as we receive the funds. So it's kind of treasury allocation first, scaling the mining operations second. And, really just enhancing our MNAV is the number one goal here.
Excellent. And do you plan to attract any type of investors? Is it more retail or institutional? Will you look to go down that route in the future, or a mix of both?
So I really want to grow our retail investment following. I think that's super important when we're in the early stage that we're in right now.
Sure.
Having said that, we have had a lot of institutional interest and inquiries.
Okay.
Really, I just want Bitcoiners and believers on the book for this.
Bitcoin believers on the book. Okay, good. Well, thanks very much, Hewie. So we've got the rest of the day to wait for that wrap to close. So we can surely catch up maybe tomorrow and see what it closed at.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mark.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at StockBoxMedia.com. Thank you for watching.